Hey everyone, so I'm not exactly sure how to start this video because I've got a notepad and I've kind of scripted a lot of it. Well, I've not really scripted, I've put like a lot of bullet points and it's over like 2 pages, so I don't know if this video is going to be like super long if I go off track or if I just quickly read it and then try and make it as natural as possible. I'm also not like completely sure what I'm going to do with this video. Originally I was just going to like upload it in private and then send the link to my friend because this video is inspired by one of the videos that she did. Her name is, well, on YouTube it's Scottish Lass 15, or I'm not, in fact that's terrible, I don't even know. I think it's either Scottish Lass or Scottish Lass 15. That I might just be getting like our Twitter and YouTube combined and mixed up, but her link will be in the top line of the description. So in her video she talked about social anxiety and her experiences, and at the end she asked if anyone else had similar experiences with it because hers were quite different than a lot of people on YouTube. So in this video I thought I would talk about my experiences and hopefully you or anyone else can relate to my like life. Okay, I'm just gonna start the video. It might have got like a little bit darker. I'm using the sun and it keeps changing, so it might get really bright and then it might get super dark, and I don't know, I can't control it. When I was in the shower today I kind of thought of an extra point. Like, as I said, I have scripted the video, but when I was in the shower I thought of like an extra point, kind of like if I was to say, what do you think when you hear mental illness? You probably, well, probably not in our generation, but like your mum or your dad, they'd probably picture someone super old with maybe dementia or something else. You wouldn't really think of depression and anxiety. I'm not trying to say that the world's like super ignorant towards like they only think that and like they don't think of depression and anxiety as a mental illness, because that's like not true. People are starting to notice it a lot more, especially within the last 4 to 5 years. It's really becoming a big thing within like the medical, and people are kind of starting to understand it. This is probably a little bit off topic and a little bit random, but my favourite band personally is 21 Pilots, and I've been a fan since around 2014 when I saw them live, and that's kind of where I discovered them. I didn't really catch their entire show, I caught half of it because I was at a festival, but yeah, I'd listened to them at the festival and I went home and I couldn't stop listening to their songs. And now they're in like the top 50, and this might be 100% random, I know, but they're in like pop music now. They're in like really really popular, which is kind of, it's really cool, but it's a little bit scary because if you think what their music is, like their music isn't sexualized, their music's really really deep, and I don't want to like sound like so Tumblr and deep and stuff. Their music talks a lot about depression, anxiety, and like being scared to grow up and kind of like move on. And the fact that a lot of people are like connecting with that music is really scary, but I think it's really good. I don't know, I don't want to say it's like really good because it's not, but it's good in the way that people are starting to notice and starting to relate to like their music because it is like really really deep. I'm really out of breath from saying that. I need to like start making videos again. Hopefully that point made sense. I know I've kind of rambled a little bit, and I'm going to try and like continue with the script. So a year and a half ago, I don't know the exact date, but a year and a half ago I started noticing that my mood was like gradually changing, like really changing. Sometimes I'd be really motivated to do stuff, and a lot of the times I wouldn't be, and that would be about 5 days I would not be motivated to do anything, and maybe two, but the two were never together, so it was like maybe 3 days of feeling terrible and then one good day, and if you didn't do anything on the good day, then you know the rest of the week was terrible. If you like, when you're on your good day of, well, when I was like in a happy mood or in a good day, if kind of anything, I don't want to say went wrong, but like if anything came up or anything happened, my mood would like change and I'd be really sad and be really unmotivated to do anything. So eventually, just on nothing, I decided to go and make a doctor's appointment. He like diagnosed me with like depression and mild social anxiety. So I never like use that I'm socially awkward, and I never say that I'm like depressed or anything like that, because I thought I was just naturally like just in terrible moods all the time due to maybe my diet or something. Like I always tried to blame it on something else. I never wanted to blame it on depression. But once he told me that like that I was depressed and it was like affecting my mood and the stuff that I ate, because I started to eat a hell of a lot of food, because food made me happy. Food and chocolate milk was like my key last year. It didn't work out. If you go back to like my old videos, you'll notice that my face was like really chubby, and yeah, it wasn't the best year. Um, but like he decided that he would give me like medication for it. I originally turned it down because once you're on this medication, you can't do anything. You can't drive, and you can't like. Oh, basically, you can't drive. I don't know what else I was going to list. But one of the things I was doing my driving lessons, and I'd passed my theory, and I'd failed my driving test once, and I was about to sit it again, so I really couldn't have took the medication. But once I failed my driving test again, I was like, well, I might as well try this like medication, like the pills, and I did, and so that took me away from driving, which was a really bad thing to do, because if you pass your theory, you've then got 2 years to like make up and pass your practical. If you don't pass the practical in the 2 years, then you need to reset your theory, and that made me a little bit more depressed. I know it's going to sound weird. This is going to sound weird, but this was around the time that Alfie started to do driving lessons, Pointless Blog, and he was like almost passing, and I'm like, right, he's almost going to pass, and I've been at driving lessons for a year and a half, and I'm like nowhere near passing because I can't even drive because I'm on this stuff. So I eventually decided that I can't take these like medication anymore. So around 6 or 7 months later, I was like, I can't do it anymore. So I stopped taking the medicine, and ever since I stopped, things started to get better. I sat my driving test again, and I passed it, which was awesome. And I'm going completely off. The whole driving test thing is not on here. Like this, like I'm already halfway through the year, and I've not even covered the stuff that I was meant to be covering. But yeah, if we go back to before I was on the medication, which was around Christmas, I think if I put like around Christmas, my birthday's in November, so it was around Christmas and the middle of my birthday, kind of between November and December. That's what I'm trying to say. So I was in a college course, and this course was only like 18 weeks, so it was like half a year of a course, and it was a police services thing, because I was originally going to go into the police, and I wanted to see what it was all about by doing this course, before I would apply for the actual police and go in to do it. That made no sense. But around 6 weeks into this course, that's when I started to feel like I had to go to the doctor and get my mood checked out, because it couldn't have just been me on like bad days. So you know the whole story about the doctors. And around 6 to 8 weeks into the course, I really started to feel anxious, and I couldn't go in. It wasn't depression then, it was just anxiety. Basically what would happen, this would happen in school as well, is around, like, I'd wake up in the morning around 7 o'clock, I'd go for a shower, I'd get ready, and I'd be totally fine. And I normally put my shoes on out in the hall, I don't do it in my room or anything. And I would go, and I was just about to put my shoes on, and once I started to put my shoes on, I would get like a really sore pain in my stomach, and my stomach would like cramp up and like sting, and like it would really, really hurt. And I don't know what it was, but it was always when I went to get my shoes on to leave the house. Like my comfort zone, even now, is my room. Like when I'm away from my room for like so long, for a certain period of time, I don't know what I'm saying, but like I start to feel like really disconnected, and like I don't know how to explain it, but my room like brings everything back and like makes me comfortable, and I don't know what I'm trying to say. This entire video is a mess. But the feeling, like the cramp in my stomach and the stinging, was getting a lot worse with this college course. It got to the point where I couldn't leave the house for college. This was around 8 weeks in. I couldn't leave the house at all. Again, when I woke up, it was fine. When I went for a shower, it was fine. I couldn't eat breakfast in the morning as well. That was another thing. I still can't before I go to college, but this year, like, it's amazing. Like, I love everyone in the college course. I would go to get my shoes on, and even, like, when I'm just about to put them on, that's when my stomach would really cramp up, and I'd get stinging pains all round, like, I don't know, like, it was around my stomach area and everything. I feel like I'm talking to a doctor. But it was really bad, and it started to get really intense. I tried my hardest to go because I did kind of like the college course, and at that point I really wanted to go into the police, and I just couldn't leave the house. I got my shoes on and I would go for the door, and I just couldn't, like, there was like a block. I just couldn't leave my house. I could leave my house if I was going down to go to the shop or anything, but I couldn't leave my house if I was going to college. There was just some block and I just couldn't get past it. So 2 to 3 weeks go by and I've missed college for that long, and like I'm like on the edge of getting kicked out because like I didn't want to tell anyone why I couldn't come to college. I told my best friend that I just don't like the college course, I'm dropping out. I can't be bothered with it, and that was obviously not true. But there was one time that I did get out of my house. Like, I fought and like I really tried to get out, and I did. I'd locked the front door and I was good. Like, the pain had went away as soon as I left. I'm like, this is brilliant. I was walking up the stairs because my house is like down a little hill and you have to walk upstairs. I walked up them and I started heading towards the bus stop, and then I got this really, really intense pain. It was like all this pain went away, it was building itself up, and as soon as I got to a certain point, it just absolutely crippled, and it was so sore. I had to run home. I don't know, something just kind of took over and I just had to get home. It was really, really scary, and that was probably the lowest point that I've been with anxiety. And I don't really know how to explain it, and I don't want to make this video like super depressed and stuff. I want to try and keep a really upbeat mood, but I just couldn't go back to college. I'm sweating so much. I eventually had to drop out of that college, and I didn't really want to go into the police after that. Like, once I learned a little bit more about the police, I didn't want that as my life, and I couldn't have pictured that as my life, so I had to drop out of the college course. And when I dropped out of the college course, that's when things got really bad. I felt like I'd failed. Like, this was only an 18 weeks course, and I felt like I failed, and this was the first time that I really dropped out of something. Like, in school I stayed all the way up to the last year, and I didn't do well in grades because I'm really dumb, but I did, like, I went to school every single day. In school I accomplished quite a lot, and then to go to college and drop out was a big change, and I was really disappointed in myself. After that I started to eat a lot, and food was like my comfort. And then, like, the fatter I got, the more depressed I got, and the more that my mood would just be complete, like, crap. And a lot of it could have been down to my diet, and a lot of it is a complete mental state. This was about the time that I had to quit my job as well. I worked at like a terrible, it was actually Farm Foods, which is, if you don't know what it is, it's only in Scotland and England. It's like a really cheap supermarket, and they pay their staff like minimum wage. Like, it's actually terrible. But it was a job and it gave me money, and I had to quit it. So when I quit, it stopped me being able to do stuff, because if you don't have money you can't really do anything. You can like stay in your town, if your town's small. If you've got a big town, then you probably need to like stay around your house. But like, I live in quite a small town, and it's like a seaside town, kind of. It's not really, it's got a big massive river running through it. But like, I could go out and skate around there. I used to like pennyboard a lot, but like I stopped that because I started to get a little bit fat, and I didn't really want to go outside because I was ashamed of my body. But now that I've talked about my experience, and I know it's been extremely messy and all around the place, and I've been talking for like 23 minutes, so it's going to be it's going to be really hard to edit. I'm going to have to stare at myself for 23 minutes. But I want to kind of end on a higher mood or higher note. I don't know. But like after I went through this 6 or 7 months of just sheer like complete depression and like anxiety was terrible as well. After I went through this, it started to get a lot better. I got into a college course, which was awesome. It's the one I'm in now, actually. I got into that. I'm going into my second year. Before college started, I got a really nice job. This job was probably the best job I've ever had. Sadly, I quit it like 8 months ago. It was probably the worst decision I've ever done. But like I had to do it at that time. I worked as a waiter in like a really fancy restaurant. So I was getting paid an okay amount for someone working part-time, but I also got tips, and I got a lot of tips. So like every week I was able to do stuff because not only did I get my pay at the end of the month, but I also got tips, which counted as like doubled my pay pretty much. So it was really awesome, and I could do a lot of stuff, and I could buy a lot of stuff, and I remember I would spend my money like absolutely instantly. I'm not really good with money. Like as soon as I get it, I need to spend it. But I'd went to that job, and 2 months later college started. I was studying photography. This was the first year. And I just decided that I'd be really confident on the first day and like get to know everyone. Because the first time I went to college, like the year before that, it was really awkward, and I was really, really quiet, and I wouldn't talk to anyone. And that was just horrible, and it was terrible. So I decided I'd get to know everyone and talk to everyone, and it was really awesome, and it's a really good, like, I'm so happy I did that. Eventually I'll let them know about my like YouTube channel and YouTube videos, and like I don't like when people watch my videos in front of me because I get really embarrassed and I like start sweating like crazy. My hair's a complete mess. But like they did that, and I was like trying not to like sweat and like die. Even right now I'm dying, but they were really awesome about it. None of them made fun of my videos, and it was really like nice and awesome. And like if anyone in my college is watching this, then like thank you so much for like the best year like of my life pretty much. That's just really cheesy. But like that year in college, like last year, was amazing. Ever since it started was just absolutely amazing, and it's like helped me recover a lot. I think like if you're going through a depression and anxiety, you need like good people there. You can do it on yourself, but it's probably going to take a lot longer. And I'm lucky that I got into this course and like made a lot of friends for college, and I'm super happy with like where my life is going. And yeah, I've not stuck to any of this script. All it says on this page is the end. That's it. So I think that's the end according to my like notes. So thanks everyone for watching, and if you enjoyed this video or if it helped you or anything, give it a like, leave a comment if you have like a story or something, and if you ever need to talk about anything that's going on, you can DM me on Twitter or even YouTube. I think they've got like a messaging system. But yeah, I'm gonna go, and I hope you guys enjoyed. I'll see you guys in my next video. Peace.